My name is Sarah Hamilton. I work as an investigative journalist for the newspaper Fact and Fancy, always in search of the next big story. Unfortunately, my current research into an illegal phone hacking scandal hit a dead end. That's why my boss, James Billings, sent me to Neuschwanstein. Apparently, there's something not right with the refurbishment. Reason enough for me to get into my car and drive there immediately. I should be there by dusk.
Sarah, one of our most important sponsors has reported unusual procedures during the renovation works at Neuschwanstein Castle. I know you are currently working on something else, but I can sense a big story here. Go there straight away and find out what is going on. Good luck, Billings.
Billings sent me to Neuschwanstein. The building is supposedly under reconstruction. But one of Billings' sources reported some very unusual incidents. He wants me to investigate them. Maybe I could interview the castle's castellan about it. I've heard she's something like a local celebrity.
A late visitor. What a surprise. You must be Miss Hamilton. Mr. Billings has already announced your arrival. Welcome to Neuschwanstein. My name is Beatrix von Lohen, the Castellan.
It's a pleasure. Can you recommend a local hotel?
A hotel? No, my dear. Let me suggest something else. We have rooms here in the castle which are used by the tour guides from time to time. They are all empty at the moment, thanks to the unattractive but unavoidable renovation work.
Do you mean I can stay here in the castle? That would be fantastic.
Your enthusiasm is so refreshing. But before we all get too excited, I have to call my supervisor and clarify this. Oh, in that makeup drawer over there, you'll find all the information we provide to regular tourists. Make yourself comfortable. I'll be back in an instant. My dear, I have excellent news. There is nothing standing in the way of your stay in the castle anymore. But unfortunately, the chamber is only free for 1 week. After that, the tour guides will return to the castle.
I don't know how to thank you, and 1 week is sufficient.
I was hoping you might say that. If you wish, you can take a look around outside while your room is being prepared. You might even run into our beloved professor.
A professor?
Haven't you noticed the black monster of a vehicle blocking the view of our magnificent castle's facade? That is the home of Professor Dr. Wolfgang Adler, scientist and historian.
Interesting. And what does the professor do here?
If you ask me, he's wasting his time on fruitless investigations. But it's better if you speak to the good man yourself. He should be back from his dinner over at the pub any time.
I might just do that.
So, my dear, I will retire to my chambers and wish you a pleasant night's rest. Do let me know if there's anything you need. I'll do the best I can if you need anything. After all, we'd like you to write a great story about our castle, wouldn't we?
Well, of course. Thanks again. And good night.
Hey, a new face, and such a pleasant one, if you don't mind me saying so. My name is Wolfgang Adler. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I've already heard of you, Professor. Sarah Hamilton, journalist, on behalf of Fact and Fancy. I'm currently working on a story about the castle. But can a historian discover anything new here?
Fact and Fancy? Somebody from the press. Unfortunately, I'm working on rather mundane topics at the moment. I fear I've locked myself out of my trailer, and I am now a homeless academic. Poor old fellow I am.
Well, as you know, us journalists sometimes have to resort to exceptional and controversial measures. Maybe I should take a look at the door lock. Not like that.
Young lady, I'm not sure whether I should be appalled or impressed, but where on earth did you learn such abilities? I owe you my gratitude and stand in your debt. Is there anything I can do for you?
Why don't you just tell me about your investigations?
I'd like nothing more than that. I've been devoting myself for months now to possibly the greatest challenge in historical criminology, the death of fairy tale King Ludwig II.
Oh, so you're not only a historian, but also a criminologist.
In all modesty, I can claim that I've established a reputation in both disciplines. And this investigation should become the crowning glory of my career. I'm going to solve the mystery of the king.
And as we've just seen, I can probably be of use to you here. Maybe we can solve the mysteries of Neuschwanstein together.
I would appreciate your company, and your abilities would be very useful without a doubt. I've uploaded a few notes on your tablet. You should take a look at them. Castle Neuschwanstein. Facts. Foundation, 1869. Built on the ruins of two medieval castles, Vorderhohenschwangau and Hinterhohenschwangau, near the town of Füssen, South Bavaria. The construction was initiated and financed by Ludwig II, King of Bavaria. Never completely finished, because Ludwig was deposed in 1886, then probably killed. Maintained by the Bavarian Department of State-owned Palaces, Gardens and Lakes. Ludwig II, Otto Frederick Wilhelm, 1845 to 1886. King of Bavaria, 1864 to 1886. Son of Crown Prince Maximilian and Crown Princess Marie. Ludwig built several fantastic castles, such as Neuschwanstein, Herrenchiemsee, and Linderhof, which later brought him the nickname, the Fairy Tale King. The reclusive king piled up a huge amount of debt to finance his construction projects. That is one reason why he was deposed by his own government in the end, by declaring him insane. In 1886, Ludwig died in mysterious circumstances, after apparently drowning in Lake Starnberg.
It's over. This trip was more than I bargained for. All I need now is to get some sleep and recover from all this runaround. But let's meet here tomorrow and get a closer look at that construction site. There's more to do. Good night, Professor.
Call me Wolfgang. Good night.
Aha, the reporter, the writer, on the search for the truth. Then listen carefully and remember the words I am about to say.
You know me. Incredible. And who are you?
Oh, they're talking about you in and around the castle. They say an inquisitive guest has arrived. I am merely a simple Benedictine brother. I keep the secrets and reveal the hidden. They say there are restoration and renovation works going on. I say they are destroying and demolishing.
Good man, you're speaking in riddles.
Open your eyes, writer. Look at the tools, the equipment. Count the rocks. The workers enter the mountain and create mountains. Mountains full of rubble and debris. And what is the stone mill for that grinds up everything? Sacrilege. It's a crime.
Stone mill? Are you talking about the big shredder on the building site?
Look at the small things, writer, and you will find the big picture. Look at the small things. I must go. May God be with you.
Good morning, Sarah. I see that you have already made contact with our strange monk. What did he want?
He seems to be suspicious of the ongoing works on the building site, and he's not wrong there. Why is there so much rubble and rock lying around? You could conclude that the castle is being torn down.
Indeed, this is rather unusual.
We really need to collect some rock samples and investigate the shredder.
You should talk to Beatrix before running around on the building site without permission.
Well, fair enough.
What sort of stories are these? The castle is being torn down? Are you being serious? What makes you believe this? Professor, say something.
Our journalist has spoken to Brother Emmanuel?
With the mad monk? Dear God. Brother Emmanuel has lost the plot. He urgently needs psychiatric help. Don't take his chatter at face value. This man should not be the source for serious reporting, believe me.
But you can't deny that there is a large amount of rubble and debris piled up.
These are trifles with which I do not concern myself. Go and take a look around the building site if you wish, and talk to Francetti. He's the one who is responsible. Professor, please be so kind as to report back to me as soon as possible. I need to take care of other important things.
But of course, my dear.
Yesterday I got acquainted with the renowned criminologist Professor Adler. He seemed to be a bit confused, but nevertheless very capable. We agreed to investigate the castle together. After all, he is a well-respected expert on Neuschwanstein. The castle's castellan, Beatrix, provided me with a room inside the castle.
I don't care where Beatrix sent you. Don't get in the way and don't distract my men from doing their work.
Maybe I introduced myself.
Not necessary. We all know who you are and we know the professor only too well. Now leave me alone. I'm stressed out.
No one really looks like they're very busy.
Save yourself your sarcasm. The shredder is knackered and we're making no progress. I have to go into town now to get some spare parts. Don't touch anything while I'm gone.
What exactly are you restoring here?
Ask the Castellan if you have any further questions. Capito? I don't have time for this kind of circus. Ciao.
These rocks certainly don't belong in the castle's facade. I'll bet my pension on this.
It's going to be difficult to prove.
Why? We scan it and send it for analysis.
Oh yeah? And how's that going to work? We're going to drive to the Technical University in Munich?
What do you think is in my big trailer? A whirlpool?
Seriously? I have no idea.
Then hold your breath and follow me to Dr. Adler's mobile laboratory of unlimited possibilities. Actually, the lab is still under construction. There are financial constraints that are difficult to overcome. Can you imagine how much this high-tech stuff costs? It devours enormous sums. At least the 3D scanner's ready for use.
Maybe I can collect a few donations for you. But anyway, let's turn on that scanner.
In a jiffy. Now where on earth's the manual? Yesterday it was lying on the table over there. Hang on, I'll soon find it.
Professor, calm down. Take a seat over there and don't move. I'll find the manual in this mess.
May 1880. We have read about a device that can record sound. It's called phonograph. Thereupon we ordered our chamberlain to provide us with such a device. We are considering investing in this Thomas Edison.
Sarah, our employer has given me a letter to hand to you. I have sent it to the castle's administration via express courier service, and it should have arrived by now. It may contain important information, so it's best if you go there directly. Good luck, Billings.
My dear Professor, you were going to report back to me. What is happening on the building site?
I know, but we are still working on it.
Yes, okay, but don't test my patience too much.
Has there been a delivery for me?
But of course, my dear. How could I have forgotten? Here, I believe it's this letter.
Sarah, I have further information for you. Our client has sent me a message. See below. Furthermore, he talked about the fantastic innovations which Ludwig had ordered to be built. He mentioned the kitchen particularly often. You should take a closer look at it without attracting attention. Billings. Find it, and you will have your story.
May we take a look around the kitchen?
I am deeply sorry, but the kitchen is momentarily inaccessible. Strict instructions from the top. No exceptions.
But why?
I don't question my supervisor's orders. I follow them. This is called discipline and loyalty, my dear. Nowadays, these virtues seem to have been forgotten. And now, please excuse me. I have things to do.
What is wrong with her? She has always been friendly to me.
So much for solidarity.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that. I remember reading a book which mentions a secret passage to the kitchen. I just don't know exactly where this passage should begin.
Oh, another dead end.
Yes, that's exactly what I meant. The king ordered this passage to be built to have access to food whenever he felt like it. Very handy.
And we've already seen these carvings in the bedroom. I think we should continue our search there. Maybe from there you can access the kitchen.
But we also need to go back to the building site. If my experience is anything to go by, the workers are going to take a lunch break soon. I'd like to report back to Beatrix.
But of course, we're going to make the old dear very happy.
25th of May, 1875. Another astonishing wonder of technology has revealed itself to us. It's necessary that we pay more attention to these technical possibilities of preserving moments for eternity. The ensuing ages shouldn't only learn about our deeds, but they should be able to see them.
So, if I understand this correctly, the completed map leads to a vault underneath the castle.
Yes, I agree with you.
Do you know what this means? This would be the greatest sensation in the past 200 years of German history. We would become famous. This information is priceless.
Calm down, Professor. First we need to find the other parts of the map. Once we've found them, we can celebrate. And no word to Beatrix. No word to anybody.
I am as silent as the grave.
The writer and the scholar. Are you still searching? Still hunting? But be aware of the man from the south and his henchmen. They are protecting the way into the depths, but I can help find the way.
How?
The writer and the scholar should be here this time tomorrow. Then I will give them proof that exposes the man from the south. To reveal the big conspiracy, to open the curtains of truth. Go in peace. May God be with you.
Dear Miss Hamilton, our geological department has analyzed the sample. The rock specimen definitely did not originate from either the castle or the rock stratum underneath. Due to the pressure that has been placed on these rocks, we can ascertain that the specimen derives from at least 10 meters below ground level. I hope this information is of use to you. Kind regards, Elizabeth Minner, Archive, Historical Museum, Munich.
path to the kitchen is clear.
We should wait until night falls. Then the risk of being caught is lower.
You are probably right. Running hot and cold water. The Rumford stove, a grill whose circular movement automatically adjusts to the heat of the coal. A cupboard for heating plates. A fish tank made of granite and a refrigerator. The highly modern kitchen was used from 1884 to 1886, even though the king only spent 172 days in the castle during this period.
August 1875. Our decision to invest in photography has paid for itself many times over. The latest procedures have finally brought forward our plan to take a picture with our special friend. All to the good. I wonder whether it was a stroke of luck that we found someone so obedient to us. May 19th, 1880. We have read about a device that can record sound. It's called phonograph. There are...
Ludwig II's kitchen is incredible. Back then it must have been the most modern kitchen in the world. The Rumford stove, rotisseries, hot and cold running water, plate warmer, wood oven, fish tanks, and even a fridge. You could spend quite some time in here, right, Sarah?
If you haven't noticed yet, we live in the 21st century and women no longer belong in the kitchen.
Of course that's not what I meant.
Anyway, the email containing the photo of the broken fragment has been sent. The analysis will take some time, though. I suggest we cover our tracks and get a few hours of sleep.
Excellent idea. It's been a long day.
That's what happens if you climb onto scaffolding at night, where you're not supposed to be in the first place.
The poor man. What terrible tragedy.
The police are probably already on their way, and I have to close down my building site for today. A lost day, just because of these idiots. I need to inform the workers. Imbecille.
I don't believe it was an accident. We will find the culprits and bring them to justice.
But, my dear Professor, don't draw any hasty conclusions. The confused fellow has always been climbing all over the place where he could have broken his neck. We should leave this to the police.
Where are they, anyway?
Inspector Fisher should be here any minute. Goodness, I'm going to leave. This is too much for my nerves.
These are strange possessions for a poor, confused monk. Maybe the Historical Museum in Munich can help us with an analysis.
Of the cordless screwdriver?
I'm talking about the swan statue, Professor. Just what is wrong with you?
Fresh corpses aren't for the faint-hearted people like me.
I thought you were a criminologist.
The recently deceased are rather unusual in historical criminology.
Is that so? Anyway, we really should photograph the statue first.
Journalist or criminologist regardless, please leave the unsecured scene of the accident immediately.
We're not yet convinced if we're dealing with an accident. Brother Emmanuel wanted to meet us and hand over more proof of a conspiracy.
All of this sounds very exciting, but to me this looks like a tragic accident. All over the country, Brother Emmanuel was known for his careless curiosity. This had to happen someday.
Aren't you drawing hasty conclusions?
Do you know anything? Just give me the smallest hint of a crime and I'll start investigating. Until then, let me do my work.
Follow me, Sarah. Let's go into my lab. I have an idea.
I have to admit, Professor Adler is of great help. With his assistance, I've managed to discover several interesting artifacts from Ludwig's time. A very interesting ancient broken fragment, and a mysterious part of a map. Unfortunately, both are incomplete, but maybe we'll even find the missing pieces.
The 29th of May, 1881. The phonograph has finally arrived. Even though the records don't exactly resemble the spoken word, it's still fascinating that it's possible to capture sound on a wax cylinder. We are going to leave behind further records of our thoughts for the ensuing ages.
If we get my receiver amplifier up and running again, we can hack into the castle's webcam and download last night's photos. I'm afraid the trailer's generator is shut down for good.
I'll take a closer look at it. Could be a joke.
Well, let's take a look. There, the monk.
There's another person. Can you see? But it's not possible to see who it is.
Emmanuel's being pushed off the scaffolding. It's his murder.
Well, if this isn't evidence, Inspector Fisher will be so surprised. I've downloaded the photos on my USB stick. We should present them right away.
Have you seen the photos on my tablet? Do you still believe it was an accident?
No, not yet. I did ask my colleagues in Fussen, but they're so overworked at the moment. Oh, for God's sake, what dog's dinner? What am I gonna do?
Maybe we could help you in the meantime. We have free access to the castle.
I don't know. You want civilians? On the other hand, if you can move around freely, it would be helpful. But you need to report back to me. Here, take the UV light. It'll be useful for gathering evidence.
You can rely on us 100%, Inspector.
I know. Take photos of everything that's suspicious. I'll go to the pub, my office, and inform my colleagues. Upset stomach. All this stress, you know. I need some herb schnapps.
But of course, Inspector. Take it easy. Being overzealous can be harmful.
Dear Ms. Hamilton, the swan statue, whose picture you forwarded to us, belongs to a casket which is positioned in the study in Neuschwanstein as far as we know. It was a present that the king received from Richard Wagner himself. Kind regards, Elizabeth Minna, Archive, Historical Museum, Munich.
of May, 1883. We are fascinated by our parrot. When we showed Marie our conservatory, it addressed her with "Good evening." Maybe we should rename it. We are thinking about naming it Otto from now on. January 1885. This parrot is a genius. Otto remembers an astonishingly large amount of whatever we have to say to him. Maybe it can keep more of our secrets. or even repeat them when we say a code word.
Then let's wake up Inspector Fisher from his nap and send him these fingerprints.
We should take further prints for comparison.
Especially those from Beatrix and Franchetti.
Beatrix? You want to needlessly bother her? Her nerves are frayed already. Is that necessary?
Everyone is a suspect. Everyone. But now, we should open the casket. It can't be unimportant if Emmanuel had to die because of it.
Incredible. A real letter from Ludwig II. The content is rather unimportant.
At least at first sight. I think we should examine the letter for secret writing in your lab.
Good idea. The scanner will be of great help to us. Highly remarkable. I can indeed identify some secret writing, but it must consist of a very special milk composition.
Doesn't the UV lamp give any further information?
Unfortunately, it doesn't. We need a source of heat in order to make the writing apparent. A candle or a cigarette lighter.
Well, there are plenty of candles in the castle, and a lighter should be easy to find as well.
Why the rush?
Che cavolo! Once again, only cold coffee. This thermos flask is rubbish. I will head into town now and enjoy an espresso. Arrivederci!
enough already. So what is the problem now? Do you want to send me to an early grave with your capers?
The alarm went off and we wanted to see if everything was okay.
No reason to panic. Everything is under control, my dear.
Everything under control? First, I need to inform Inspector Fisher that this was a false alarm. Otherwise, he's going to send out the whole cavalry. What an unpleasant day this is. I don't wish to hear of any further catastrophes. Understood?
Mr. Dullman, we are very unhappy with the progress of the construction. The Singers' Hall should have been finished long ago. I really hope there won't be any further delays. Inform us of the new completion date. Why did you remove the craftsmen from our secret project? We don't want the interior fittings to be installed before this is finished. See to it immediately. Regards, Ludwig II, King of Bavaria. "9th of June, 1886. They have really dared to do it. Our monarchy has been overthrown. We have to hide all our secrets safely. We have used the phonograph to leave behind important hints and clues for our followers. We hope no one discovers our double life."
Now, I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. A phonograph wax cylinder? Basically, it's the forerunner of the gramophone record.
And how do you use such a cylinder?
With the phonograph, of course. I will instruct my institute to quickly send me one via courier. Tomorrow we will be able to listen to everything that's on this cylinder. Until then, we have to remain patient.
Hello, Sarah. Our expert is 99% sure the painting is a fake. Even the photo shows that the paint possesses a slight reflecting component. That kind of paint has only been available since circa 1970. It seems like you're onto a hot lead. Good luck, James Billings.
Dear Miss Hamilton, the photo of the broken fragment you forwarded to us has caused great excitement in our archive. It belongs to a vase that stood in the throne room in Neuschwanstein Castle for years and is thought to have been missing since the Second World War. Please send us the original piece as soon as possible. Kind regards, Elizabeth Minner, Archive, Historical Museum, Munich.
In the Holy Grail legend, several traditions come together. It's a mixture of Celtic, Christian, and Oriental sagas and myths. All written records describe the Holy Grail as a miraculous vessel in the shape of a bowl, a goblet, or a stone. It is said to offer felicity, eternal youth, and endless food. According to the Christian interpretation, it's a bowl with which Christ's blood was collected during his crucifixion.
Aha! The analysis of the broken fragment has arrived. It's becoming more and more mysterious. The fragment belongs to a vase, which was considered missing.
Then we better search for the other parts of the vase.
And it gets even better. The vase used to have a firm place in the throne room in Ludwig's time.
I'm already asking myself when we would finally get there.
These seem to be all parts of the vase. Now we only need to put them together.
I'm afraid that is easier said than done.
Let me take a look. It can't be that hard.
Hold on. Can you hear that? What kind of noise is it? Careful, Sarah!
My dear, I admire your talent to constantly get yourself into trouble. But is it necessary to always involve my dear friend the Professor in these calamities? How are you, Wolfgang?
Under the circumstances, I feel well. We got away with no more than a bad fright.
Yes, but only thanks to the figure with the strange hat.
I presume it was one of the notorious Google men.
A Googleman? Here in the castle? Oh my God! What have you got me into? You were transforming my wonderful Neuschwanstein into a proper haunted castle. Mr. Professor, this has to stop immediately.
I humbly beg your pardon, my dear.
My driver will immediately take you both into the village, where you will stay in the hospital for the night. I won't accept any protest. The police have been informed. Inspector Fisher wants to see you two here tomorrow. Oh, and this room is closed from now on. And I will allow myself a double gin. Otherwise, these unpleasant incidents are unbearable. Good night.
Now that's a terrible story. So relieved that you're still alive.
Believe me, so are we. Have you heard anything about the prints we sent out for analysis?
I have indeed. The print definitely belongs to Franchetti. But since he can move around freely in the castle, this is no more than an indication. I'll keep an eye on that man, that's for sure.
And the other fingerprints?
The analysis is still pending. And unfortunately, my colleagues are still very, very busy.
Something terrible has happened. The monk, Brother Emmanuel, has been murdered. Both site manager Franchetti and Beatrix behaved very strangely after that. The investigating police are unfortunately overwhelmed by this case. That's why we stepped in and offered to help solve it. In the end, we were able to recover all parts of the vase. Shortly before we put it back together, we were attacked. An unknown Googleman saved us. First murder, then attempted murder. What next?
Finally, we've got the entire map.
Then let's take a look at it. another dead end. Yet another map.
Well, then let's have a look at that one as well.
I feel like this is really turning into a paper chase.
Mr. Dullman, we are very...
Hello, Professor. The phonograph you asked for was sent to the address you named by express and should have arrived by now. Please return this valuable device undamaged. Best wishes, Andrea Noble, assistant to Professor Dr. Adler.
If this really is the King's parrot, these audio recordings are absolutely sensational.
What do I care about this fowl? I'm interested in what it squawked.
Foul? I beg your pardon. According to the audio recording it says, past the Eiffel Tower, over the Thames, past the windmills, over the King's Gate, and back to Neuschwanstein.
Aren't there cities inscribed on the secret door at the St. Mary's Bridge? And isn't the Eiffel Tower in Paris?
The last time I was in Paris, the Eiffel Tower was still there. In his conservatory in the heart of Munich, Ludwig kept several exotic animals, such as a talking parrot. This story is proven by Princess Maria de la Paz, who was welcomed by this parrot on the 11th of May, 1883. He briskly said, "Good evening," after the king's death. The parrot disappeared, and his whereabouts remain unclear. By listening to the phonograph records of Ludwig's parrot, we are able to identify the following sentence: past the Eiffel Tower, over the Thames, past the windmills, over the King's Gate, and back to Neuschwanstein. Is this something like a code? It seems to relate to the king's flight route.
Flight route? Back in those days? Are you kidding?
Believe it or not, King Ludwig II was a real aviation pioneer. But I don't think he actually flew those routes. It was probably just his dream.
With this king, almost nothing surprises me anymore.
In 1869, the king decided to build an air wagon in order to fly over the Alpsy Sea. The technician of the Royal Court Theatre, Frederick Brandt, was ordered to construct this gas-powered vehicle according to the king's plans. Alternatively, he wanted to tension a wire rope 1,240 meters above the ground from Hohenschwangau to Sperbersau to at least simulate a flight inside a gondola. Today, a golden statue on Munich's airport shows the fairy tale king with the model aircraft in his hand. I feel like a mole. We really need a source of light.
I'm already looking around, but what should I be looking for?
In fact, back then Ludwig had already experimented with electricity. I bet we can turn on the light here somewhere.
Let there be light.
I can't believe it!
What is it this time?
What we have here is the first Bavarian electric power station built by King Ludwig II himself. That I've lived long enough to experience this.
Men. A few cables, a few switches, a few coils, and they already think they've created the eighth wonder of the world.
Now, I'm at my wit's end. How can we get this mechanism to work?
Don't give up, Professor. Now everything is illuminated. We should take another look around.
In 1878, the king ordered the first Bavarian electric power station to be built in Castle Linderhof. 24 highly modern dynamos supplied the Blue Grotto with electricity. Furthermore, the king's moonlit sleigh had a battery underneath the seat, from which the electricity for the Edison carbon filament lamp came, the world's first electrically illuminated vehicle.
9th of June, 1886. They have really dared to do it. Our monarchy has been overthrown. 3rd of May, 1880. It was our touch of genius to build this grotto. Here below ground, we are not annoyed by the agonizing sounds of the ongoing construction work. It turned out well. The electric lighting is going to please our good friend Richard especially.
Unbelievable. This is almost an exact copy of the Blue Grotto in Linderhof Palace.
I'm speechless. This grotto is absolutely wonderful.
No one is going to believe any of this.
Well, I am used to that.
Ludwig built the original Blue Grotto into the rock in 1875 in Castle Linderhof. Inside there was an artificial dripstone cave and lake with electric wave machine. The Königssitz, or also Christossitz, formed the center of the grotto. Whenever the king wasn't being rowed across the lake in a golden swan, he sat on a subterrestrial throne and had a clear view of an erotic monumental painting with a Venus motif.
Professor, what have you been up to? I haven't seen you all day long. And you, my dear? I thought you were writing a story about the castle. Where have you been all this time?
I have been looking at the magical surroundings of the castle.
And we have found out that there are some fake paintings in the Singers' Hall. Of course, we started investigating this immediately, my dear.
Counterfeits? In this castle? That would be more than scandalous. Dear Professor, aren't you mistaken?
We?
We've just started with our investigation.
That's incredible. I must inform my supervisor. Please excuse me.
Have you gone crazy? We don't know yet whether Beatrix isn't involved in this herself.
I fully trust the Castellan. She hasn't ever done anything to suggest otherwise.
Let's hope so, by goodness. I can only pray that you are not mistaken.
I can always rely on my senses. We're not going to receive analysis of this fingerprint today.
Hopefully it's going to stop raining tomorrow. Otherwise the vaults will remain inaccessible.
Yes, indeed the rain is annoying, but a bit of sleep will be good for me. See you tomorrow.
Porqueria. That's it for the renovation, I guess. What senseless destruction. Who would do anything like this?
Probably some youngsters from the village. Don't worry. We are going to catch these hooligans.
Maybe, maybe not. In any case, I can send the workers home for good. Finito. Have a nice day. Ciao.
Don't forget, Franchetti, 1 hour in my office for questioning.
Si.
Franchetti doesn't seem to be too upset. He seems rather amused.
Don't worry. He's going to be upset once I've talked to him.
Oh, the interrogation because of Brother Emmanuel.
Exactly.
Good luck.
It is still raining too heavily. The vaults will have to wait. What a pity.
Then let's go into the laboratory and see whether the webcam has recorded anything of the person who destroyed the building site.
Good idea.
It's unbelievable. As a matter of fact, Ludwig had extensive underground vaults built beneath Neuschwanstein and the surrounding area, and no one knew about them. The completed map led us to the entrance. A sensation. Maybe we'll discover further artifacts, or maybe even the grail itself. What a story.
The term ultramontanism defines a political stance of Catholicism. Its followers take their orders exclusively from the Vatican or papal court. According to rumours, a secret and very radical splinter group exists, which is entirely subjected to the Holy See. Their task is to fight against any modern and anti-papal vein in society by all means. It's said they have requisitioned diverse artifacts and relics for the church. There they are again, the men with the pointed hats.
Our lifesavers. Google men, they're called, aren't they?
Yes, indeed. Here, Google men fight against ultramontanists. We really have got ourselves into deep trouble.
Slowly, the story is becoming interesting. This is going to be a really hot scoop.
We should present these pictures to Inspector Fisher.
What are you talking about? Googleman? Ultramont? Who? Are you going crazy? I need facts, not conspiracy theories.
But if you think about it, it all makes sense. The Googlemen have come to prevent the ultramonists from...
Enough, stop it. My head is spinning. I don't want to hear one more word about secret societies. Now I'm going to give Franchetti a rough time. He'll be in for a nasty shock.
Now, we really have convinced him.
I believe the inspector's horizon is, to say the least, a bit limited, to be quite honest.
We should inform Beatrix. She's probably concerned.
No way, Professor. Haven't you noticed? It's not raining anymore. There's work waiting for us underneath the mountain. Your lovebird will have to wait.
The modern Googlemen were probably formed in 1998 on the occasion of the 113th anniversary of the death of King Ludwig II. They are rooted in the tradition of the Coalition, a secret society that was founded by Ludwig II. They believe in the murder of the king by the former Prussian Secret Service and defend the honor of the dead king also in other areas. They wear black frocks and pointed hats, the Google.
Hello, Miss Hamilton. The person mentioned above withdrew from the interrogation and has been missing ever since. The person in question is not unknown to the database of Interpol and has already been involved in several crimes with a sacred or historical background. Should you meet him again, don't give yourself away and call the police immediately. Franchetti is said to be dangerous and ruthless. Best wishes, Fisher, Chief Inspector, Police Department, Fussen.
Dear Mr. Fisher, we're coming along with our work and are going to report back to you soon. We need to know if there's a match between the enclosed prints and either those of Franchetti's or Beatrix. Thanks. Kind regards, Sarah Hamilton.
The royal Bavarian fisherman, Jacob Liddell, was the only witness who could have seen the king's death. Apparently, his silence was bought with a lot of money. This is a possible explanation for him becoming a rich man after the king's death. He stuck to his vow of silence, but wrote a booklet containing the truth about the events that was supposed to be buried with him. Even today, there are different opinions of whether the booklet did go to the grave with Liddell, or that it is kept somewhere else.
"7th of July, 1868. Our secretly instructed workers have excavated an entrance within the ruins. We could hardly believe what we discovered. We need to hide our discovery from envious people. Therefore, we issued the instruction to conceal the entrance in the groundwork of another castle. We are going to commence construction next year."
Look, a picture of Ludwig. I wonder whose arm is around him.
We are going to find out, Professor.
Ludwig used to be a passionate photographer, but all his photos have disappeared. If we find them, we will be world famous. In 1868, the Vienna court was informed that photography had become the king's passion. In Hohenschwangau and on Castle Berg, the king had installed a well-equipped photo laboratory and darkroom. Each present from the king also contained a signed photo of him, so that it can be claimed that King Ludwig II invented the autograph card. Unfortunately, many of the photographs disappeared after his death.
Not like that.
This room really isn't a surprise. It's common knowledge that Ludwig had a passion for the theatre.
It seems to me the king was a man with many passions.
Now I understand what this is really all about.
Already? This is about nothing other than the Grail. I've been convinced of that since the Ultramontanist showed up.
Do you believe that the Grail is really down here?
I'm a journalist. Belief doesn't help me much. But if the Grail is down here, then I need to find it. Trust me on this.
Ludwig II loved theatre and enjoyed being surrounded by actors and authors. But since he deeply disliked the other spectators and gawkers, he started hiring the entire hall so as to enjoy the plays all by himself. In Munich alone, 44 operas, 154 plays, and 11 ballet performances were staged just for the king. Already as a 16-year-old, Ludwig II listened to Tannhäuser and called Wagner his God and Redeemer. In 1864, he sent a golden ring with a red ruby to the indebted Wagner in Stuttgart, and on the 4th of May of the same year, the king and Wagner met face to face in a residence in Munich for the first time. This was the start of a long friendship and mutual admiration. It was King Ludwig II who drove Wagner to write and compose Parzival. The Boonweinstück, as Wagner called it, tells the legend of the Grail Knights and ends with the fortuitous Parzival becoming the new Grail King and the Grail Knights rendering homage to him. In November 1880, Ludwig II attended a private performance of the orchestra's prelude. Wagner himself wanted his creation to have an enchanting effect on him. Ludwig II identified with the Parzival from Wagner's work, and Wagner also saw the young king as an innocent Grail searcher. Even though Neuschwanstein was a highlight in Ludwig's construction work, he was planning on building an incomparable Grail castle on top of the ruins of Falkenstein. This is where the Holy Grail was supposed to find its final resting place, if it was ever discovered.
Not like that. Not like that. Not like that.
December 1885. We have accomplished it. The script to our latest masterpiece has been completed. The world premiere is going to revolutionize the world of theatre and is even going to outshine William. We have to inform our good friend Richard about this accomplishment. For this purpose, we are going to invite him into our secret kingdom. 8th of June, 1868. One of our historians could tell us that the symbols probably originate from the Templars. Templars here in this region? According to this historian, the Templars were completely dispersed by the Inquisition. We certainly need to follow up on this. 3rd of May, 1880. It was our touch of genius to 5th of May, 1875. Another astonishing wonder of technology has revealed itself to us. It's necessary that we pay more attention to these technical possibilities of preserving moments for eternity. The ensuing ages shouldn't only learn about our deeds, but they should be able to see them. 20th of August, 1875. Our decision to invest in photography has paid for itself many times over. The latest procedures have finally brought forward our plan to take a picture with our special friend. All to the good. I wonder whether it was a stroke of luck that we found someone so obedient to us. 5th December, 1885. There are few days when we regret having taken the picture with our special friend. It could have been a fatal error with serious consequences. We can't bring ourselves to destroy this piece of evidence, the mirror of the most up-to-date technology. That's why we need a secure place where we can hide the photo and where no one but my closest allies will get to see it. 21st of December, 1885. We have accomplished it. The script to our 8th of June, 1868. One of our historians could tell us that the symbols probably originate from the Templars. Templars here.
Not like that. Oh, another dead end. Not like that.
Sarah, now everything is clear to me. The king had a double. The king wasn't killed.
Yes. That's the riddle's solution, but I also have another assumption. Not only did the king survive, but he also had descendants, because...
Watch out! Behind you!
And this is where your adventure ends, you fools. Thanks a lot for your help. And now, hand me what belongs to the holy chair.
And what should that be?
Don't pretend to be dumber than you are. Pass me the grail. Prontamente!
If you find the grail in here, you can keep it. You work for the Ultramontanist, don't you? I already thought so.
The only person I am subordinated to is Cardinal Pietro. No one else. And now, your time has come. Your services are no longer needed. Mille grazie. But I have my instructions. Mi dispiace.
No, don't do that. Beatrix, that wasn't 1 second too early. You're a true guardian angel. How can I thank you?
That really was just the right moment.
I was sure this Francetti was up to something, and that it wasn't anything good. So I followed him. And I see now, I wasn't mistaken.
He named a certain Cardinal Pietro to be his employer.
Well, that is highly remarkable. You've discovered a truly fantastic place down here. Congratulations. Excellent work. But quickly follow me. I need to show you something near the bridge.
Dear Miss Hamilton, the results of the analysis of the fingerprints from your previously mentioned counterfeits have arrived. They belong with 99.99% probability to Beatrix von Lohen. I don't know what this means for your research, but I'd like to ask you to immediately get in contact with the police department in Fussen. Best wishes, Fisher, Senior Constable, Police Department, Fussen.
Professor, stop! It's a trap! Beatrix!
Too late, my dear. Now, I will take what has rightfully belonged to my family for decades. I am the descendant of Lilla von Meyering, to whom Ludwig has promised marriage, and whose reputation he has sullied.
But Beatrix, I thought of the two of us.
Professor, you ridiculous worm. You never noticed that you were working for me all this time. No one noticed that I am a von Meyering. All across Bavaria, they fell for my lie. And now, the time has come. Revenge is mine.
This witch deceived and tricked me.
And now, adieu, you pathetic fool. All of this belongs to me now. Me alone.
We'll see about that.
In 1867, a romance between Ludwig II and the court actress Lilla von Meyering developed. The opinions about the seriousness of this romance differ, but it's been passed on that von Meyering already saw herself as the Bavarian Pompadour and the next wife of the king. When she let intimate details of their relationship leak out to the public, Ludwig reacted angrily and wrote this to his secretary on the 27th of November 1867. The recently so impertinent Meyering shall go to hell. This was the end of the affair as far as the king was concerned, but obviously not to Lilla and her family. What have you done?
Are you still not cured? Beatrix wanted to kill us.
Who's talking about the old hag? I'm talking about the bottle of wine. That was a Chateau Margaux from 1899. An invaluable drop.
I like you better this way, Professor. That's the right attitude.
My eternal thanks to you. You have performed a great service for my family.
And who are you?
I believe Miss Hamilton knows who I am.
I assume you are my secret employer. Furthermore, I assume you're a descendant of Ludwig II.
The fairy tale king had children?
And who else would send me here to hold back the Ultramontanists?
You are a very smart person, Miss Hamilton. My expectations of you have been fulfilled. And you are an insistent and stubborn scientist, Professor. My respect.
My king.
Make sure everything down here is placed in responsible hands. It's in my family's entire heritage. And I have to ask you for one last favor. Please keep my existence a secret. The king didn't have any descendants. Let's keep it that way. Can I count on you?
As hard as this is for me, I will remain as silent as the grave.
No one will ever find out anything through me. But tell me, has the Grail ever been here?
Who knows? Who knows? Doesn't the Grail rest in all our hearts? I need to say goodbye now, but maybe destiny will bring us together again. Miss Hamilton, Professor, farewell.
It was an honor to work with you.
It was a pleasure for me, too.
And maybe, well, I don't know how to express myself.
Spit it out.
Maybe one day you'll need an insistent, stubborn scientist for your research.
That, I'm sure of, Professor. Maybe even soon,